Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats here at Theatre PASSE MURAILLE in downtown Toronto with the executive producer of Night of the Living Dead Live, John Russo. When you co-wrote the film 45 years ago, did you ever expect it to be turned into a musical comedy stage play in Toronto?
Well, I co-authored the screenplay with George Romero, and we all did whatever it took to make that movie successful. And all we wanted to do was to make the best horror movie that we could make, and we hoped that we could get it distributed somehow, and we knew almost nothing about the distribution business. And we used to say that, you know, if we can probably make something better than these El Cheapo Mexican horror films that show on late night television, and if we do that, even if we have to hand carry our film in the cans from drive-in to drive-in, we'll get it played somewhere.
Yeah.
So those were our aspirations, make a darn good film. We wanted to pay off the horror fans that hardly ever got to see anything any good, shelled out their money and saw Attack of the Giant Grasshopper and Attack of the Giant Caterpillar and all these trite B and C Hollywood movies that were just fodder for the box office. You know, and we said, no, we go to these movies and we want to see something good, and these fans want to see something good, and that was our goal.
And when Nyctophobia Films approached you to create the play, what really sold you on the project?
As we got to know, at first, Phil Pattison and Christopher Harrison, we really liked those guys, and not just as friends, but as they're intellectual equals and artists and sincere people, and we could see the zeal and the zest they had to do right by Night of the Living Dead and to do right by us contractually and so on. And, you know, so we just, you don't want to work with anybody where it's not going to be a good working relationship, and if it's not going to be respectful, if it's not going to be fun, don't do it. That probably applies to everything in life.
You've worked with George and Russ for many years now. How has your working relationship stayed the same and also changed over the years?
Well, George I've worked with off and on. Once we had a small company in Pittsburgh that our goal was to make feature movies, but we made TV commercials, industrial films, beer commercials, pickle commercials. H.J. Heinz Company was one of our big clients, that kind of thing. Always putting money aside and buying equipment and expanding our studios in hopes that one day we'd make a feature film. So I worked very closely with Russ and George for 5-6 years until we made Night of the Living Dead. We made a second feature movie together, and then, just like the Beatles, ego problems set in certain quarters, and that we kind of fell apart. That way, we remained friendly and worked on some things since then, including the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead, which the three of us co-produced. Tom Savini directed. So off and on, we've worked at things since then, but I don't see George as often, especially since he moved to Toronto. But when we do see each other, we tell war stories from the old days and laugh our butts off and that kind of thing.
How much does the play pay homage to the original film?
The play Night of the Living Dead Live does pay homage to the original film in the sense that the first act I look at it as a kind of a template, because it does, in a new way, but take the story from beginning to end. And it kind of ends, but it doesn't end, because the second act is, I call it like sort of jazz riffs on a theme, It's like, and it takes themes that we established and things we did in the original, and then what ifs them. What if Harry was the boss instead of Ben? What if he somehow got that gun? Could these people have survived? And it goes off on this thing, and it's so entertaining. It's so funny, there are lines that are meant to be funny, and they are funny. And last night at the dress rehearsal, I laughed my butt off through the whole thing. And some of the reason I laugh is, it's thrilling and exhilarating when creative things hit the mark. You just laugh with the joy of it. So that's the way it was for me, and I just think they all did a tremendous job.
What do you think of the black and white color scheme?
I like the black with reservations, to tell you the truth. I don't know if I would have gone the black and white with the actors' makeup, but it's what they wanted to do. And, you know, one of the things is we don't want to inhibit their creativity. Just like nobody inhibited ours, the good thing about putting up our own little bit of money to make Night of the Living Dead was that there wasn't any studio looking over our shoulders telling us what to do, and we were able to do it our way. And we thought, yeah, we're buying into these people and their creative input, their abilities. Let's let them run with it.
What do you think that the fans will enjoy most about this production?
I think what they're going to enjoy most are the new things that are very respectful of the original and yet give you whole new slants to look at things, you know. It's like when I say jazz riffs, it's like I remember the Oscar Peterson trio doing a jazz album of traditional Christmas songs and things like Little Drummer Boy, which bores the hell out of me. You know, in the original version, ba da 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 rum pum pum pum, forever and ever and ever. So Oscar Peterson does it, and it comes alive in a, you know, in a jazzy way, and it's great. And I think that's what they did with this stage play. They took the original and they brought something new. Because who wants to see? In fact, there's a ripoff, a total unauthorized ripoff of Night of the Living Dead, where they took my words and George's words and transcribed them. And if you read the stage play, it's the same damn thing that we wrote, and put it up on the stage, and it luckily fizzled out. Because nobody wants to see a tired carbon copy of Night of the Living Dead put up on a stage. Why don't you just put the DVD on your TV? You know.
And in the original film, you played the first zombie who got stabbed in the brain. Were you hoping to get that role again in the stage play?
No, but if called upon, I would have nobly answered the call. Well, I might. Because there's a moan zone, you know, we're full of like zombies up in the balcony and all that. And then there may be zombies coming down into the audience, and one of these times when I'm here, maybe I will end up. I told one, I'll tell you the same. So if you're in the audience, I might come down and bite your neck.
Okay. I'll look out for that.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, John. Congratulations on an amazing career, and best of luck with the show.
Well, congratulations. I understand that your blog and, what do you call it,
Katie Chats.
Yeah, Cynthia told us that this is a really fun thing that you do and that people really like it. And nice to hear that.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats here at Theatre PASSE in downtown Toronto. Did you expect to invent the whole craze on zombies and what that means today?
Well, when we made them flesh eaters, that's what seemed to do the trick. Before that, zombies weren't very scary. They'd kind of shamble around, throw somebody against the wall, try to choke somebody, and they were pretty ineffectual. And even as a kid, they didn't scare me. But when we made them flesh eaters, that struck some kind of atavistic fear in people. I think because, you know, most of the existence of human beings, we've been prey for wild animals and so on. So anyway, then when it came time to be a zombie, we had to we were inventing these flesh-eating zombies as we went along. I thought, well, I played the zombie that got the tire iron in the head, and I thought, well, they'd have a certain amount of rigor mortis that hasn't left them, so I'd have to move stiffly. I'd have to twist my face out of shape, you know, like something went wrong. And then I took a pair of vampire teeth and I snipped the fangs off, so those aren't my teeth, but I just thought it might give it some kind of different look to my face. And then I would just twist my face painfully out of shape. At the end of the shootings, I'd always have a headache from it, you know, and I would just do like that. And then I get jealous of Russ and George Costanza, because at conventions, fans ask them to do their famous lines, you know, and Russ gets to do "They're Coming to Get You, Barbara," and the sheriff gets to do "They're Dead, They're All Messed Up," and then I get jealous and I say, well, doesn't anybody want to hear my line? And they look at me like, what the hell was your line? And then I give it to them.
I like that.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, John. Congratulations on an amazing career, and best of luck with the show.
Well, congratulations. I understand that your blog and what do you call it, Katie?
Katie Chats.
Yeah, Cynthia told us that this is a really fun thing that you do and that people really like it. And nice to hear that.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats here at Theater PASSE in downtown Toronto.